Hello everyone, welcome to Lush and Salty Aquariums. I'm sitting in front of my 15-gallon cube tank from Flaw. It's from their F series. I believe this is the F60, the cube at 15 gallons. They had an F90, a larger tank, more horizontal in shape. This is their high-end kit that comes with a beautiful stand that you have to assemble, but it has excuse me, there's a Christmas gift in front of the door here, but it has a beautiful teak wood, kind of high-end kit that comes with it. Inside there is a canister filter, the 106 from Flaw, which is more than to the task for a tank like this, of this size. It's done wonderfully for me. It comes with Flaw nano light for plants, and a heater and various other peripherals that are necessary for this aquarium to work at optimal quality and strength. I have had no problems with this tank in the 3 years I've had it assembled. I will say one flaw, so I suppose it is a problem, is that the light had a Velcro stick attachment, which over time was not sufficient for maintaining the weight of this light, and so I had to use a combination of ingenuity. You see a rubber tube in the back that braces it against the wall, and I used basically crazy glue for the general attachment. It works fine, but it's totally a jerry rig, and in essence a flaw that I'm assuming they will correct if they continue this line, which honestly I don't know that they are, because when I looked to buy some pieces for this aquarium, a new top for example, I could not find this tank for sale anywhere except in bits and pieces or used on eBay. That's too bad, because I think it's a beautiful system and I've been very happy with it, and it's quite attractive and would work in a living room or anywhere that a lot of people might gather. It's not a hobbyist only aquarium. It has a lot of aesthetic qualities to it as well. This is a community tank in every sense of the word. When I had a dozen aquariums, this was also a catch-all for any random fish or fish that I had to move for any number of reasons. So I took some male endlers when I had too many guppies, or endlers, I suppose. Endlers and guppies are different. You see a gorgeous male, which I raised up. I had various schools of tetras. Here you see gold neon, and behind them ember tetras. Those were in other tanks as well, and so as I changed around other tanks, I would take the neons, for example, the endlers, for example, the gold neons, and there you see a minnow, and I also have a rainbow fish, isolated specimens. But for whatever reason, I would move one or two fish into here, and over time it became an incredible hodgepodge. Here you see a nearite snail. I also have assassin snails. You can see, let's find one there with the striped shell. Actually, that's rounded. It's hard to tell, but assassin snails predate there's one, a beautiful example. There's a little group of them. So the assassin snail is beautiful, and it feeds on ram's horn snails and pond snails, and if nothing else, it might even attack a larger snail, but generally speaking, these can avoid predation from the assassin snail. There's another group of them. I have a lot in here because over time I had a lot of snails, and so the one or two assassin snails I put in here to curb the population absolutely did that. But you do get a group of those. I've been told that as they increase in quantity and size, they will begin to die off under the gravel where they live during the day, if there's nothing else for them to eat, so they might die of attrition. Not exactly a wonderful piece of news, but at least I don't have to obsess about removing assassin snails because they're overtaking the tank. There you see a couple panda corydoras. There's probably 2 or 3 more. And I have various other species of corydora in here. The pygmy variety, longfin panda, and maybe even a classic reddish-brown corydora catfish. I also have large amano shrimp, and I'm going to show you one now. There you see hanging underneath. That's about 2 inches long, so Godzilla sized. And of course those are used to clean algae from the tank. In here I also have a daisy-eyed rice fish, another lone specimen, and a couple gimonstrous Siamese algae eaters, which were put in here when they were small and to contain blackbeard algae, which you will see examples of right there, or even better, a little bit more degradation up there. That's easy enough to deal with. When you change the water, just pull those dead leaves off of the Java fern. It's really a simple treatment. I would pull that one and those up there, and I'll do that this week. But when you're trying to maintain a younger plant, the algae eaters helped, because I didn't want to be clipping leaves on new growth, etc. In the center of this tank, I have a couple beautiful pieces of driftwood. They're hard to see now because of the intense plant growth, but they anchor this beautiful Java fern colony. Here I have some crypts, I should say. That's the plants that are growing from the ground there. Many of those are juvenile and were not planted by me, but rather spread from the initial group that was here. In general, though, the Java fern has taken over everything, and I'm okay with that because the effect is nice and it's also very easy plant to work with, and you can sustain a bio load of all these fish because the plant gives them myriad places to retreat and cultivate food sources and even fry should that be an issue, which it hasn't been, because in a community tank any baby fish or eggs tend to become food before I ever even see them. In any event, that is the update of this Fluval F60 aquarium. I hope you enjoyed it, and as always, keep your hands in the tank.